Hello, everyone. This is Gary Godsey with ATPE. I appreciate your joining me today for our past presidents webinar. We really appreciate your time. We're going to do two things today. One is you will be muted while we go through this presentation, and there's a chat box for which you can type in questions that we'll try to get to at the end of the presentation. And we really appreciate your being on today. All of this came about a couple of weeks ago when we took to our board a new logo and tagline for ATPE, and I wanted to share with you a bit about how we've rolled up to that and have you be the first group that sees this work publicly beyond our board of directors. We hope you're pleased with what we show you today. I've got a couple of guests with me that I'll introduce to you in just a moment. And we really want to be sure that we have an opportunity to walk you through how this new logo and tagline evolved and what it means, we think, to the future of ATPE. One of the things that's important about today is today's ATPE's birthday. It was on April 1st, 1980 that ATPE was formed, and we're celebrating our 34th birthday today. And if you look back in our history, some of you on this call perhaps were part of the original group that formed ATPE, and I wanted to say once again how thankful I am for your leadership and your continued support of our organization. The work that we did in 1980 certainly carries forward today, and the history and legacy and the leadership provided by all of you in your role as president has meant so much to our organization, and it's one of the key things that we considered when we were looking at how do we roll out a new brand, if you will, for ATPE and make it work for everyone who's now a member, some 107,000 people who are members of ATPE across the state. We were fortunate about 3 months ago to bring on Glenda Beasley. Glenda Beasley is with me today, and you'll hear from her a little later regarding marketing and branding and our plans to roll all of this out to the general public here in the next couple of months. And she'll bring you up to speed on some of the work that we're doing and how we hope to get that accomplished. All of this doesn't work, of course, without the support of our members and our past presidents, our current board, all of our regional leaders and our volunteers. And once again, we're extremely thankful for the work that they do to support our organization. I want to talk to you initially about the logo and the tagline. It's the most visible thing, I guess, that you could say that ATPE is doing, and if, the screen in front of you right now will show you what happened in 1980 and how the original logo came into being. And if you'll notice, the 18 stars, which I've heard a lot about since I took the job 8 months ago, signifies the 18 people who were part of ATPE and the formation of the new organization. And the star, as you'll see as we unveil the new brand and logo, we think is a central piece for the future of ATP, and it means a lot to us, and I know it means a lot to you. And we, as we got through this work, we said that's got to be part of our new look in the future. We want to show you, we want to break away here and show you, before we launch into explaining the new brand and the new logo and tagline, a brief video, very brief video, to give you the first look at the new ATPE brand and the new ATPE tagline and logo. So without further ado, we're going to roll back now to and she'll show you some of this as we move through this. One of the things that you'll see in the new slide that's in front of you now is our new brand and our new, our new logo and our new tagline. And I want to talk to you about how this was formed. Several months ago, before my arrival at ATPE, a group called 97 Degrees West was employed by ATPE to go around the state and do some critical research for us. They met with people in a few major metropolitan areas, and these groups were divided into 3 key groups. The first one was ATPE members. They met in groups. They were taped. They were asked similar questions, and we took that research, and the group 97 Degrees West came back, and they gave us a hold hold on just a moment. I think we're hearing some sound that's coming through here. Okay, there we go. 97 Degrees West went around the state, and they met with these groups of people, and they gathered research, and they came back with some critical things that were important to us. There were three groups of people. There were ATPE members. There were members of other organizations, other professional education associations like ours, and there were people who were not members of anything. And they tested a number of ideas and a number of thoughts on them, including our current supporting your freedom to teach tagline. And universally across that research, it came back that people really didn't understand what that meant. They weren't in tune with what supporting your freedom to teach meant, and they really weren't clear about what ATPE stood for, nor were they really clear about any of the other organizations, but specifically as it related to ATPE, they really weren't sure of that. So as we started the critical work around developing this new brand and this new look, we considered several things. One is, what did we learn from the research? Number two is, what did we learn from our past and our history that we wanted to keep? And number three, how could we position ATPE for the future so that we could be successful not only in retaining members, but in gaining new members as we continue to grow the organization? If you'll go back and look at the meaning of the logo that we just presented to you, the single star represents all of our members. It was impossible, we thought, to capture all of the good work that every member does for ATPE and all of our leaders and some 5,000 volunteers. So we decided to go with a single star, and you'll notice the word supportive in it. And if you'll notice, the star actually is a caring star. It's putting its arms around all of the members in the state of Texas. That was the first thing. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback internally from our board and otherwise on, yeah, that makes really good sense to us. The single star, the caring star, the supporting star was very, very important. The capital letters in the new logo are important because ATPE has a strong brand, a large membership, and we want it to be bold with the capital letters. The red, interestingly enough, is a color that really played well with all of our research groups. It's also interesting to note that all of our competitors have blue. That many of they're all about blue, and distinguishing and continuing to use the color red was very important for ATPE. And then lastly, the actual your ally and your voice was extremely important to all of this, because we wanted a tagline that was about our members. And as we did our research and we looked at all of these other organizations, it was really interesting to find out that when you look at what they talk about themselves. They don't talk about their members. And we thought, what a great way to position ATPE for the future. And this cuts across lots of different pieces of our business. As an example, ATPE can be your ally in the classroom. ATPE can be your ally in the community. ATPE can be your ally in your career through our many programs and offerings that we have. ATPE can be your voice at the Capitol. That's a natural one for us. ATPE can be your voice if we have to represent you in a legal proceeding. So this has a lot of play, if you will, across a lot of different sectors inside of ATPE, and we think it's a powerful tagline, one which people seem to understand and seem to get, and really makes it a much more powerful, I think, brand presence with this very clear ATPE, your ally, your voice across the state of Texas. We think it's going to be a good position for us in the future. Now, brand and a logo and a tagline are just a piece of the overall puzzle. One of the things that our board continues to talk to me about is how do we take ATPE to the next level? And there's lots of ways that we hope to do that, but this is a beginning of a journey that I think we'll all be involved together as we not only unveil this in the next few weeks publicly, but we put all the necessary pieces in place to make this come to life. This is hopefully your you're pleased with what you've seen at this point, and you'll be pleased as you see all of this new work rolling out. Now, before I hand off to Glenda Beasley to talk to you about next steps and all the things we've got planned, I just want to step back for a moment and just reflect on the last 34 years. And while I've only been here 8 years, I can tell you that this organization would not be what it is today without the prior 34 years. It goes without saying. But the people who helped construct this organization, and in many cases who still remain involved with this organization, we wanted to respect that past while still looking forward to the future. And we think that by maintaining some of the key pieces of what we had throughout these last 34 years and looking at some new ways to position ATP in the future, we've accomplished that, at least the beginning of our journey. Now, all of this still boils down to one thing. We have to be able to talk about ATPE, the benefits, the virtues of joining us, what people get and how they get it, and to keep people involved with our organization in the future if we're going to be successful. Glenda, who's coming on now, has been working hard on how do we all tell the same story? How do we all, if someone comes up to us and says, why should I join ATPE? How do we have language that's common so that all of us are saying the same thing about why people should join ATPE? And I'll turn it over to Glenda now. Glenda Beasley comes to us from the Texas Parks and Wildlife organization. She is a seasoned marketing professional with many, many years of experience. She's worked in organizations that are similar to ours in that they serve the entire state of Texas. They had very different regions in which she worked. And all of this expertise is now coming to bear on all of this work that we're doing. And I'll turn it over to Glenda now. We'll come back at the end and answer any questions you might have. But she's going to walk you through these next steps.
Well, hi there. I am very honored to be on the same wavelength with this group, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and questions at the end. I'm just going to walk you through the brand rollout, what we're thinking there, the new website, what's going to happen at Summit, and talk about our membership materials. And the first part of that is, of course, talking about the brand rollout. We have the new logo that Gary has walked you through, and it's out to the officers and the board so that they can start putting those in their regional meeting materials on PowerPoint. We have a logo usage form agreement that enables us to keep track of who has the logo and how they're using it, and some brand guidelines that helps us to keep a consistent look and feel as much as possible. And that's something that we're trying hard to keep looking so that it's adhering to the way that it was designed. It's not pink or blue. And then on May 1st, we're going to do a webinar that will actually be for volunteers, and we'll hopefully have a good showing there to walk through some of what Gary's already walked through with you. And then from there, we're going to talk about, we're going to have our thank you letter going out and a postcard going out to announce the new website that you see here. And the new website is long awaited, and the wonderful thing about it is it's going to be very mobile friendly, which is important these days. If you look around in any restaurant or anywhere you go, sometimes unfortunately you see everyone on their phones, and that's very true for our target audience as well. So not only are we excited about the website going live, it's targeted for May 9th. We're excited that we're going to be able to promote it through online advertising. That's where we're going to put most of our marketing efforts, is in online marketing for throughout the summer and leading up to the NTOs. Then at Summit, we're going to also have a video about the brand, and we'll have a video booth where we can record our members talking about how ATPE has been their ally and their voice through the years. And those videos will help us to build little 15 and 20 and 30-second TV ads that we can put into email marketing efforts and our NTO advertising online efforts as well, that I think will really bring that message to life. And then the NTO will also have an NTO booth to show what the new materials will look like. So we'll be sending out a box to all the leaders, to campus reps, and for NTO in late July. And in addition to the box, we'll also have talking points that will help everyone to have a consistent message. And we're still working on those, but just to give you an idea of trying to simplify all of the wonderful work that's been done. It's been, I guess, one of my bigger marketing challenges because there is so much work that's done here, so much great work, that it's hard to synthesize it down and get it into simple language that a volunteer can help us with at a campus. And some of the things we're talking about is, you know, we're not D or R, we're E. In other words, we're not Democratic or Republican, we're for education. And having those kind of talking points. We do what you tell us to do, and because we're, you know, guided by the member-written legislative program. And we're the voice of reason and negotiations. You know, we're respectful and adults in our negotiations at the legislators. So there's talking points like that, and we're trying to formulate a good, you know, 5 or 10 that can be consistent, that someone could easily explain in a moment's notice, and look forward to having that ready for everyone. The other thing that we're going to have at the ready is lots of new promo materials. They'll be available for sale on our new website, and they'll certainly be available for sale at Summit. And then the last thing that we just wanted to show you top line is some of the different ways that the new logo will look. It will have, you know, you can have it stacked horizontal, and then most importantly, you can put your region local specific information, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner there. So those are just some of the plans that we have. I could talk for a while, but I just wanted to give you the top line, and it's very nice to be online with you.
So before we dive into any questions you might have, I wanted to give you a brief update on some other things that are happening in relationship to all of this work at ATPE currently. We have just concluded a really fantastic strategic planning process that the board voted on our new strategic plan in February of this year. It was a culmination of about 5 months of extremely hard work by a number of people on our team here at ATPE and a number of our key leaders in the ATPE Volunteer Corps. And the new strategic plan is resting on 4 key pillars for us. It really looks to the future. It talks about growing our membership. It talks about becoming a voice for public education in the state of Texas, or the voice, I should say. You know, being the go-to organization for public education. It talks about diversifying our revenue to a degree. We have about 98% or more of our resources tied up in dues. We think that having the capacity to develop other revenue sources for ATPE over time is going to be critically important for us in the future. And we are really excited about trying to move the organization forward and build on these 34 years of phenomenal success thus far. I will tell you that our membership currently stands at about 106,800 or so members. The good news and the bad news is overall our numbers are down a tiny bit over last year. The good news is in the 3 large dues-paying categories, it looks like we've stabilized the decline in membership there. We have roughly 96,000 dues-paying, the 3 big dues-paying memberships, and that appears to have been steadied and may have a tiny slight increase. That was good news. As I came on the job, as everyone else has come on the job in the last few months, we've been heads down trying to think, what can we do to stem the tide on a membership decline that's been going on now for the better part of 4 years now. It started in 2010, and hopefully we've begun to stem the tide on our membership decline. All of this is pointed at trying to do that. We have to grow our membership, and I tell all the regions when I go to visit with them that without a growing membership, then the extent of services and products that we are able to extend to our members gets compromised. If we aren't able to grow our enterprise and get more members, we have to make hard choices about how we do the kind of things that we offer. So there's a little bit of good news wrapped up in that, and we are extremely pleased to have this roadmap for the future. I am excited about the future opportunities. I want to make sure that you feel good about the work that's in front of us, that you still feel a vested interest in ATPE. And for those of you that I've had a chance to meet, and I think I've met most of you at the summit last year, I want to thank you for your support over these first 8 months. This has been a lot of hard work, a lot of fun for me professionally, and I'm really pleased that I have this opportunity to serve you as our members in this way in the future, and hopefully we'll be able to see great things from ATPE, as great as we've accomplished in the last 34 years. Now, for those of you on the call today, before we answer your questions, we have something that we want to give you. So we have a record of those of you who are on the call today, and we want to give you the first ever ATPE tumbler with the new logo and the brand on it, or the new logo and the tagline. And we'll be sure that we get one of those back out to you. And thank you for being on the call today. Now we want to take the time to try to answer any questions you might have, and or hear from you in any way that you'd like to. You can type in questions on the site, or we can unmute and see if there's the ability for those of you with a speaker to ask your question live. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Anyone have a question?
That's why I felt it too. Good job.
Who is that? That's Cheryl.
Cheryl Buchanan.
Hey, Cheryl. We miss you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Who are you? This is Sally Wiedemann.
Hi, Sally.
As one who was at the Capitol 34 years ago, it was exciting then, and it's still very nice to be included on the revisions that you're making today. Thank you very much, Gary. I didn't get to meet you at Summit. I was out of the country, but I'm looking forward to doing so in the near future.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to meeting you too, and I appreciate your being on the call today.
This is Sam Spurlock.
Hi, Sam.
I just want to say I like the new look. I think it's real positive. I think it keeps the idea in mind and carries it to the next step. I don't know. It's just an exciting time. It's something that we've probably been needing to do for a long time.
Well, thank you very much, and appreciate that input. I saw a few questions or comments come up, and I'm having trouble seeing them on this end. Let me just make sure that we haven't missed a I think we've gotten your feedback, and any other live questions for those of you with a speaker?
Gary, this
Yes.
is Cheryl Buchanan.
Yes.
I think it looks great. I'm really pleased with your hard work. I know there's been a lot of changes, and I think we're moving in the right direction. I really love this logo.
Thank you, Cheryl. There is a question from Tim Fogarty on here that says, how hard would it be to put the new logo to be put up on each side of the presentation? We can actually maneuver that. We have some of that already, and that's a great suggestion. It does, in fact, hopefully appeal to some of the newer teachers, the people that, they're up and coming, as you put in your comment, Tim, and hopefully it will appeal not only to them but to everyone and kind of be a refreshed. We view it as a refreshing of the logo. We don't really view it as a total change, because the star was so important in the overall history of ATPE, and I think that it was brilliant. It wasn't my idea to come up with something that respected our past but kind of positioned us for the future.
Gary?
Yes.
This is Sally again. By the way, at one meeting we named those stars for the people that were there.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that.
I do. I actually have heard that, and I've read a history of ATPE that was written up through our 25th anniversary, and it was great to have that, because it gave me a really good grounding of how we became who we became, or what we became, and all of the history was really, really fascinating.
We were so close then. We were so close then and small that we were very personal.
Yes. Do we have any other questions or comments that we need to cover before we thank you once again for being on the call?
Gary, this is Charles Pickett.
Hey, Charles.
I just want to say, having actually been one of the two people that designed that first logo, you have done a tremendous job coming up with this new one.
Thank you.
I love the star with the helping arms.
Mm-hmm.
I think that says a lot about who ATPE has been and where we're going.
Right.
And I think you have done a tremendous job, an amazing job in just 8 months, pulling this together, doing the things you're doing, and it's really, really exciting to see what's going on. And thank you for considering us and bringing us into this presentation.
You're more than welcome. I appreciate it. I have Kathleen Fleming in here with me today. Do you think we ought to try to get her to stay?
Yes.
I think we ought to sing to her or something.
Yeah, we have to do something. But she's been a phenomenal help to me over these 8 months that I've been here. Her organizational memory is, it will never be able to replace that. And I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate having worked with her over the last 8 months.
Thanks, Kathleen.
It's been great. I'm going to miss you guys so much.
Well, Kathleen, you took great care of me for about too many years to actually say.
I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Okay, well, we're going to sign off. We're going to make sure you get the tumbler that you see on the screen, and thank you again for making the time today. I really, really appreciate that. I look forward to meeting you, Sally, and to meeting any of you that I haven't met. And hope to see you at the summit this year.
All right.
Outstanding
Looking
job.
forward.
Okay.
Great job.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.